I guess the old 30-30 still works. Something a lot of folks that might have sitting back in the closet, back of the gun safe, that hasn't been used in a while. And you can see after that first shot, I hadn't been shooting this thing for a long time either. I kind of short stroked it a little bit and didn't quite get the round to go home on the first lever. But these old 30-30s, they're not a bad rifle for carrying around on a four-wheeler or side-by-side, snowmobile, horseback. They're really handy on horseback, especially like this is a Winchester Model 94 trapper model with 16-inch barrel. This is obviously a later one, as you can tell, angle eject with the rebounding hammer, so you don't have a half cock. It's kind of always at half cock. But anyway, some guys, they don't like these. I think this one was made in the 80s because it was U.S. Repeating Arms Company. I know a lot of guys that are real purists, you know, would only want a pre-64, which I've looked at pre-64s and I think they'd be really nice to have. I don't have a whole lot of use for one. That's just my personal opinion. For lever action 30-30s, I got this one. And I took it out. I was shooting it a little bit earlier this morning, and yeah, I was jamming up on after every shot. I would jam. I was like, okay, that shouldn't be happening because it never used to. And but anyway, I mean, this thing sat in the closet for shoot. I don't think I had shot it for four or 5 years, and it was all gummed up and dirty and gross. So I went ahead and just sprayed Ballistol in there. Didn't even do like a real hard cleaning, just sprayed Ballistol down in here on the lifter and around here, and you can still see there's some on there. That Ballistol, that's some pretty good stuff. But anyway, I mean, if you're looking for, especially in the lower 48, you can get, you know, this is probably one of your handiest rifles to just carry around. And there's still a great option for, you know, hunting deer in the woods. Still hunting is kind of a thing that's kind of dying out, I think. Everybody just went to sitting in deer stands, which during rifle season I get, because you got, you know, 6 guys on an 80. Obviously you're not going to be wanting to still hunt in that situation, but maybe there's a day where there's hardly anybody out there, and you know, get out, walk around in the woods, do a little still hunting. It's still my favorite way to hunt with a muzzleloader. But and the 30-30 has proven itself over a century of getting deer and black bear, a few other things too. I know the cougar population is getting pretty high, and I mean the four-legged cougars, mountain lions. But this is a handy rifle. I mean, if you're out in the mountains, maybe you're in a wilderness area on a camping trip or something, this ain't a bad rifle to carry in your saddle scabbard. And they're small, you know. They're short, handy little rifles. Keep them clean is one thing I can say. Especially this one anyway. But even, I don't know, some Marlins, I guess I've seen, they can get I've seen them get gummed up if they just sat in the safe for 10 years and you bring it out and you want to go shoot it. You're going to have, I've seen some have problems where they're jamming up. And doesn't have anything to do with the quality of rifle. It's just that they're dirty. They get gummed up. with dust and all kinds of stuff. So keeping them clean is something that, and I never used to clean gun. I mean, I'd shoot them, put them away. I'd take them out, shoot them, and which probably wasn't the greatest thing to be doing, but anyway, yeah. As far on, like I was saying earlier, on deer, 30-30 it's proven itself many times. I personally have never shot a deer with a 30-30, but I've seen. I think I was only on one hunt where I physically watched someone take a deer with a 30-30, but I've been on hunts in Minnesota where hunters got deer with 30-30s, and it works. One thing that's really good about the 30-30 is you don't need to buy such premium ammo, especially if you're within 100 yards. I love to make fun of cup and core bullets. In the 30-06, I absolutely hate them. I think I don't. They come apart. I've had too many deer where I've hit them with 30-06 and a cup and core, and they went, 50 yards, where into the bushes, down in creek bottoms, tail down, and they just took off. And no blood, no exit wound. You cannot find a drop of blood anywhere. There was one time I shot a pretty nice 8-point buck, and he went down into a creek bottom. I could not see where he went. I went down there. It's getting dark. No blood anywhere. And I ended up finding him by, he started kind of sighing. He kind of, oh. And I heard that, and with a flashlight, I went and found him in some brush. But with the 30-30, it's going slow enough, I think, that the cup and cores work just fine. Might not always get a exit wound, but I don't know. From what I've seen deer shot in the shoulder blade and went down, hit with the 30-30. It was actually this one. I got this from my dad, and he used it it was a white-tailed doe, hit her right in the shoulder blade, and she dropped. We got out of the stand. I was just a little squirt. I think my brother was with me too, with us, my dad and I. We went over. She tried to get up, and then Dad finished her off. But I've shot 2 black bears with this, and they both went right down. So I was pretty impressed with it for that. But anyway, like I said, for a pack rifle, something you just want to throw on a 4-wheeler, or a side-by-side, or a snowmobile, or a horse. This is ridden in my saddle scabbard many times. And actually, one bear I shot from the back of a horse, which I know there's people out there that are going to say, "You're full of shit, Pete. You never shot off the back of a horse." Well, I mean, you say or think what you want. It happened. You can shoot off the back of any horse. I guarantee you'll get at least one shot. But yeah, so just these old 30-30s are still effective. They're nice, light, handy rifles that carry it. Even if you're out trapping or something like that, they're this one doesn't have a sling, but I have a kit where I could put a sling stud in here, and then there's a deal that clamps over the magazine tube. And I've been debating on putting it on or not, but we'll see. But open sights, like I said, still hunting. You come up, and if you can get your sight picture quickly, inside of 100 yards, these open sights, people are getting with people were getting deer with them for hundreds of years before the scope was invented. So it can still be done. And if you go out and shoot once in a while, I mean, I'm not saying you have to be shooting every day, but you know, practice makes perfect. And I don't know, this isn't very far where I got my target down here. I should take my rangefinder and figure it out, but I think it's 25 yards. But I put every round right in the black. So, yeah, anyway, you can, other guys that are making 30-30s nowadays, I think Winchester's does make a few 94s. I think they're made by Maruku in Japan. But from what I've heard, they're really nice, well put together. And then of course Marlin, the Ruger made Marlins. I've never shot one, but I've looked at them and they are nice. I wouldn't mind having one in 45-70. But you know, Henry's basically a Marlin. I'm not a huge fan of the tube that comes out here. I've got a Henry 22 that has a tendency to fall off. Which, again, not being too hard on Henry with that tube magazine, it's pretty handy. But I'm just saying, for a centerfire rifle, I wouldn't care for it. Who else? Mossberg was making like a clone of the 94 for a while. I don't know if they are anymore. Might be something worth checking out. And then, of course, Uberti makes a clone. And then, let's see, Smith & Wesson came out with, they make it pistol calibers, and then I think they make a 45-72, and they might make a 30-30, but I don't know. Another thing about 30-30, like I was saying, you don't need the real, you don't need to use the real premium ammo, you know. The cheap stuff works, especially inside of 100 yards. You don't need to buy the stuff that's $60 a box. Actually, both bears I shot were with 170 grain PowerPoints. Did awesome. So, anyway, yeah, I thought I'd just tell you a little bit about some lever actions and have a little bit of fun. I hadn't shot this rifle for a while and found out it needed to be cleaned. But anyway, have a little fun. Yeah, so I guess we'll catch you on the next one. And I'm Pete Refshaw with Refshaw Outdoors, and keep your powder dry.